Good morning, survivors. Hope you're doing well. It's just me this time. RQ is running some errands. I would normally tell you what we were doing, but she's right. We should be a little bit more reserved with our information. I argued, by sharing this information, it builds trust. But I think her logic is sound on this one. Once you're here, and I'm still holding out hope that you will at least stop by, we can go over some of our chores, I guess you could call them. How are you holding up out there? I've been thinking a lot lately. RQ does that to you. And I just thought you needed to know I care for you. I don't know who you are, or who you were. I don't know if you wish to hurt me or are like me, and it feels like you're surviving by the skin of your teeth. Despite everything, I love you. We've been at this for 45 weeks, and we probably need to set more time to grieve. Grieve for what? Everything, I guess. What we lost, what was going to be, and what is now. I know we can't change anything, and we shouldn't live in the past, but that doesn't mean we can't be sad about what we lost, right? So much potential, and in an instant snuffed out and taken from us. I've been meaning to get back. I've been meaning to get back into the hard drives I got from the base. Get more information about Project Ma and Endless. Solar power generators are great when they're sun, but when it's snowing nonstop here in Utah, some days you think it'll never end. I even told RQ that we needed to cut back on power. It would save a lot of power if we tried heating up one place instead of two. She flipped me off and closed the door. So we are still giving her some space. You know, I really thought we would just be friends instantaneously, the moment that we met. And I keep getting distracted by the view from my booth here. I can look out that eastern window. I can't quite see those mountains. Instead, I see their silhouettes against the drapes of clouds that are dropping snow. The flakes that quiet the world. Like a blanket to tuck in nature and life. All but for a moment. I can see why many groups of people, pagans or witches or what have you, see this as the cycle of death and rebirth. Coming to peace with what will end and knowing that there shall be a new beginning. Soon a dawn will rise after the longest night. The shadows grow shorter and spring will bring in new life, new hope. I'm waiting for that kick. That I'll be happy when I find someone else alive. I'll be happy when the snow clears. I'll be able to fix this when that happens. I'm just waiting for the longest night to pass. That longest night feels like it hasn't even come for us. Like that saying, it's darkest just before dawn. We haven't even gotten to the darkest, have we? And here we are, just suffering through so much. But one day, we, you and I, and whoever else is surviving, will reach the longest night, the hardest of it all. and we will have each other. We will have simultaneously more and less of us. We will stand together to comfort each other and wait for the first light of the dawning new day. Hope. Reignited once more.
I see you're back on your sad boy trend.
Hey, turn that off. It's so much feedback. That sounds so awful. I didn't think I'd see you. Didn't think I'd see you here today. Thought you'd be busy doing your errands.
Got them all done. Found a wagon that made the trips around the flat easier. Found a few things to keep you mobile too.
That's cool.
Cool? That's all? I'll finally be off your back. I thought me nagging you would be a cause for relief.
Sorry. Just reflecting.
I heard. Some Robert Frost kind of speech you had going on.
So now you're checking in? Do you not trust me?
I just wanted to make sure you learn from your mistakes from this crank radio I found. Also wanted to make sure that you were okay. Clearly, not so much.
You should have heard me when I was really alone.
So, what's bugging you?
As if you would like to hear. Besides, honestly, it's nothing.
1, I'm asking, aren't I? And 2, there's a dinosaur-sized pile of crap that you're trying to feed me and I won't buy it.
It's the anniversary of my mother's death.
Oh. How long has it been?
16 years? Yeah. I was 16.
How did she die?
Heart failure. My mom was an engineer and worked in a lot of unhealthy conditions, right? She was the person you hired because she would do the job for half the cost. She worked freelance, and to save costs and earn more, she would cut corners. Specifically corners that were there to keep you alive.
Guess that fucked her in the end.
Well, when you put it so delicately, yes, that's right. She wouldn't wear masks or any safety gear at all, really. And over time, it just wore down her heart and her lungs. Her heart was the first to go. But she was a dedicated, self-made woman. She knew what would make her the money the easiest way possible.
So you were 16? Did you go into the system after that?
Oh, thankfully, no. I lived with my sister Lindsay for 2-ish years. She was 20 at the time, and she was out on her own already. Got ourselves a cut of several insurance policies that my mother had, which took care of us for quite a long time. I mean, long enough for us to know what to do next.
Where were you when she passed?
Next to her, thankfully. I was at her side. We knew it was coming. Stubborn woman refused care. We took turns being by her side. It was a Sunday morning, and she was sad it wasn't snowing. I remember holding her hand and saying it would soon. That's what the forecast said anyways. There was a 90% chance in everything. She looked at me and said, "You are always so full of hope. You believe in little miracles, all while looking into the future." I guess that's still true. She started talking plans and what to do and what she wanted, which in retrospect was a very smart thing to do. But I didn't want to hear it. I just wanted to hear her happy stories, the things that she learned, those stories, that make us. And I told her as much, and asked what I would do without her. She was so important in my life. Not just as a parent, she was a friend, a mentor. She looked me in the eye and said, "The first thing you're going to do is to learn to cry without me." I didn't know what that meant at the time. Maybe I still don't. Maybe it's a parent thing. You cry whenever your kid cries or something. But I started crying right then and there. The second thing, she continued, is you'll learn who Gabriel really is. In this world of all things I can teach and show you, I cannot show you who you are. You have to learn that on your own, and to be honest, I've been holding you back. Then she told me a dick joke. My mother was a very classy lady. She laughed at her own joke, too. Then coughed a bunch, in my face, mind you, which only made her smile more. Then was gone.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry. It sucks.
It's funny you say that. So many people came up to me at the funeral. All of them giving me their condolences, their sympathy. Except one person who came up to me and said that exact thing. That just sucks. I gave them the tightest hug I ever could. And cried. And I needed to hear that. More than just some pity. Because after the 50th time someone says, "Sorry for your loss," it loses its meaning.
It's called semantic satiation.
I was the only person in the world to know that phrase. But yeah, had enough, and I felt numb. And this stranger just said, "That just sucks." It was the first thing to make me realize that I was there in that moment. Recognizing my life continuing, my darkest night before me. That all of those people will face this, if not already had. All I knew I could do for them, for myself, was cry.
Crying by yourself, even.
I was back in the moment, and I realized death was to be all around us. Death is to hold our hands from the very first breath we draw, and we would all suffer from it. I was scared, and at the same time, comforted. There is no singular death. Just change to something different. Maybe even something greater.
Life is pleasant. Death is peaceful. It's the transition that's troublesome.
I guess so. For me, it was a hard transition. And now it's snowing. I feel bad for the people who are stuck inside having to hear me whine on.
I feel bad for me having to hear you whine on.
Let me save your ears.
Let's go back to the flat. We can relax a bit. No one's going to come out in this weather anyways.
Again. Why I need a second person here. All the smart ideas. Sorry, survivors. Be safe. You aren't alone, and you don't have to be. Stay warm.